Hi, I'm Ron Bateman, the Sheriff of Anne Arundel County. Welcome to your Anne Arundel's Most Wanted program, a program where we showcase wanted criminals, highlight open cases, and look to you for tips. You, concerned citizens, that share my same goal, and that's keeping our community safe. You'd be proud to know that your calls have allowed us to put handcuffs on thousands of criminals. So sit back, set your DVR, or grab a pen and paper, and help do your part in catching criminals. You're watching Anne Arundel's Most Wanted. And now for another regular guest on our show, Mark Lemansky from the Anne Arundel County Police Department. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Who'd you bring for us?
We have two today for you, sir. Our first subject today is Joshua Dwayne Shiflett. On March 23rd, 2018, officers responded for an assault at a residence located in the 7700 block of Shore Road in Pasadena. As officers arrived at the scene, the victim exited the residence, suffering from stab wounds to both of his legs and to his chest. Officers administered life-saving efforts until EMS arrived, to include applying tourniquets to the victim's legs. The victim was transported to the hospital for life-threatening injuries. The investigation into this assault resulted in the identification of Joshua Dwayne Shiflett as the person who committed the stabbing. Detectives applied for and received charges against Shiflett for attempted murder, assault, and reckless endangerment. Today we're looking for Joshua Dwayne Shiflett, who is a 5' 11" tall, white male weighing 160 pounds. He is 30 years old with a thin build, short brown hair, and brown eyes, and has a date of birth of July 30th, 1987. His last known address is 812 207th Street in Pasadena, Maryland. The next subject is Alan Devonte DeMario. On February 28th, officers responded for a motor vehicle theft in the 1700 block of Independence Court in Severn. The victim reported that her 2016 Jeep Cherokee Sport was stolen from in front of her house. The victim also stated that the vehicle contained property having a value of over $3,000. Several hours later, the vehicle was recovered by Baltimore City Police. The victim retrieved her vehicle and noticed a cell phone not belonging to her was left inside the vehicle. Also found inside the vehicle was a separate vehicle key. Investigation revealed that this key belonged to a stolen Volkswagen, which has since been recovered from the Mead Village area of Severn. Upon analysis of the cell phone and other physical evidence, detectives were able to identify Devonte Allen as the person who stole the vehicle and property. So today we're looking for Devonte DeMario Allen, 23-year-old African-American male with black hair and brown eyes. He has a date of birth of November 11th, 1994, and his last known address is 1850 Blue Jay Court in Severn, Maryland. Allen has outstanding warrants for motor vehicle theft and felony theft.
Good deal, folks. You know the whereabouts of any of those individuals. Call that number on the screen, 410-222-1490 or 911, 24 hours a day. Keep those calls coming in because you have made thousands of arrests. Thank you very much for that. Mark, thank you, brother.
Thank you, Sheriff.
And of course, everyone recognizes our next guest is Sergeant Amy Megath from the Annapolis Police Department. Welcome back to the show, Sergeant.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Who'd you bring for us?
I've got three today. The first one is Edward Brian Christianson. His date of birth is September 8th of 1984. He's a Caucasian male, 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing 155 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. His last known address is 1531 Ritchie Lane in Annapolis, and he has 2 warrants. One for failing to appear in court for the charges of stealing another's credit card and theft less than $1,000, and another warrant through Anne Arundel County. Our warrant stems from an incident on August 28th of 2016. At 12:47 p.m., officers responded to a theft from a vehicle that had just occurred in the 200 block of Southwood Avenue. The caller saw the suspect, later identified as Edward Christianson, entering a parked unlocked vehicle and stealing a purse from the vehicle. The witness saw Christianson enter a home in the 1700 block of Ritchie Lane. Officers made contact with Christianson and he was identified as the suspect. Christianson admitted to taking the purse, stealing the money that was inside, and then throwing the purse away. The victim advised there was money and credit cards inside the purse. Christianson was arrested for the theft but failed to appear in court on these charges. Second subject is Guillermo Buso Santiago. He also goes by the nickname Memo. His date of birth is May 24th of 1994. He's a Hispanic male who is 5 foot 7 inches tall, weighing 160 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. His last known address is 724 Rosedale Street in Annapolis, and he has an arrest warrant for home invasion, armed robbery, assault, and 15 other criminal charges. This warrant stems from an incident on March 23rd of this year. At 6:24 p.m., officers responded to the 200 block of Center Street for a report of an assault. The adult female victim reported that a robbery had just occurred. The adult female victim was inside her home and answered and knocked at the door. She saw two male suspects wearing masks at the door, and they immediately assaulted her. The suspects demanded money and jewelry from the victim. They took money and fled the area. The female victim suffered injuries and was transported to a local hospital for treatment. Detectives were able to identify one of the suspects as Guillermo Santiago and obtained this arrest warrant for robbery for him. Santiago has a prior conviction for first-degree assault and should be considered dangerous. The third subject is Juan Reyes Salazar. His date of birth is August 13th of 1962. He's a Hispanic male, 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing 145 pounds, with gray hair and unknown color eyes. His last known address is 306 Center Street, Apartment D in Annapolis, and he has an arrest warrant for first and second degree rape, third degree sex offense, sexual abuse of a minor, and first and second degree assault. This warrant stems from an incident that was reported in December of 2017 to Annapolis police detectives. They received a report of a 14-year-old female who had been raped by someone she knew. Through investigation, they learned that when this crime occurred, Juan Reyes Salazar had been living in the same home as the victim. During that time, in September of 2017, Reyes Salazar locked the victim and himself inside a room in the home and assaulted her. Detectives obtained this warrant for Reyes Salazar.
Folks, you know the whereabouts of any of those individuals. Call that number on the screen, 410-222-1490 or 911 24 hours a day. Amy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff.
And everyone recognizes our next guest, Trooper First Class Katie Follen from the Maryland State Police, Glen Burnie Barrack. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Who'd you bring for us?
Our barrack has 3 subjects currently wanted. The first subject is Nancy Rebecca Lebaron. She's a Caucasian female, date of birth of April 21st, 1964. She's 5'2", 116 pounds, with an address of 167 Arundel Road in Pasadena, Maryland. On January 19th, 2018, Maryland State Troopers of the Glen Burnie Barrack were notified of a license plate reader alert coming from a gray Dodge Grand Caravan that was reported stolen, and the last known operator reported as a missing person. Nancy LeBaron was reported missing in association with the stolen vehicle, but was not the operator at the time. Troopers conducted a traffic stop in the area of B&A Boulevard and Marley Neck Road. The vehicle was recovered and returned to the owner, who advised LeBaron took the Dodge Caravan without permission. LeBaron was later located and charged with driving the vehicle without owner's consent, with intent to deprive the owner. She failed to appear for her court date on March 2nd, 2018, and a bench warrant was issued for her arrest. Our second subject is Charles William Messerschmidt, a Caucasian male, the date of birth of October 8th, 1992. He's 6 feet tall, 155 pounds, and an address of 3595 Half Moon Glen in Glen Burnie, Maryland. On January 20th, 2018, a Maryland State Glen Burnie trooper conducted a traffic stop on a black Honda Accord in the area of Belgrove Road and Ritchie Highway. During the traffic stop, the male operator identified himself as William Christopher Messerschmidt. He advised the trooper there was drug paraphernalia inside the vehicle. A gym bag was located inside the vehicle containing CDS heroin, cocaine, and drug paraphernalia. He was charged for the possession of CDS and drug paraphernalia under the name he gave the trooper. Then on February 19, 2018, the same trooper conducted a traffic stop on Route 100 at Edwin Rainer Boulevard on the same vehicle and same operator. During the stop, more CDS and drug paraphernalia was located inside, including a crack pipe and baggies containing cocaine residue. He was charged again using the name he provided the trooper. However, the trooper was later contacted by the detention center, who confirmed Messerschmidt's true identity was actually Charles William Messerschmidt. He provided a false name to the trooper on both dates to avoid open warrants he had through Baltimore. An arrest warrant was issued under the correct name for the drug charges and providing a false name to a police officer. Our last subject is Jeffrey Aaron Metzger, a Caucasian male, date of birth of September 7, 1989. He's 6 feet, 170 pounds, with an address of 1030 Bell Avenue, Glen Burnie, Maryland. On February 23, 2018, a Maryland State Glen Burnie trooper was dispatched to the ramp from eastbound 695 to Ritchie Highway for a report of a disabled vehicle with the operator inside unresponsive. EMS had to break the passenger side window in order to put the vehicle in park, as it was running with the keys on and the brake lights still activated. The driver, Jeffrey Metzger, was given Narcan to counter the effects of a suspected overdose. He regained consciousness, at which time the trooper observed in plain view 3 clear capsules containing heroin. A search of the vehicle also revealed marijuana and drug paraphernalia. Metzger admitted while driving to work he snorted half a capsule of heroin but started to nod off, so he pulled over to the shoulder. He was transported to a nearby hospital and later charged on an application. On February 25th, an arrest warrant was obtained and issued for Metzger for DUI and CDS possession.
Folks, you know the drill. If you know the whereabouts of any of those people, do not approach them. Call that number, 410-222-1490 or 911, 24 hours a day. Katie, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay, folks, before I talk about those subjects wanted by the Anne Arundel County Sheriff's Office, I want to talk about an event that we have going on during the month of April of this year. Before I do that, I want to remind you, during 2017, we did 2 special events where we focused on Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If you recall, I was wearing a pink t-shirt. We did a special photo op of all my staff with these special pink t-shirts we had made up. And then we did No Shave November. That's when I came on camera here with that big nasty looking beard. But month of April, we are now going to be educating everyone on the Autism Awareness Month during the month of April. Now, we have received mandated training, all my sworn staff, on how to deal with people who are mentally challenged. And so we're doing this Autism Awareness Month during the month of November, and from their training, we've come up with the line, advocate, educate, accept, love. Now, many of my staff purchased these shirts for the amount of $15, and they're taking all those proceeds that they got from the purchase of the shirts and are donating it to the Bowen Autism Foundation, which is a local foundation here in Anne Arundel County. So it's a really good thing. We're going to have a big photo op on April the 2nd, where we'll be taking these pictures, and we'll put them on our Facebook pages. I also have an article that I have written and will be published in the April edition of the Severna Park and Pasadena Voice newspapers. So check that out. It kind of describes the program and our involvement a little bit in more detail than I just described to you. So this is a really cool thing. So our first subject, it's going to be Damon Wilson Scott. This subject is wanted for violation of probation, theft, and FTA for traffic. Remember, FTA's failure to appear. Now, this subject wrote to a judge in November asking to have his VOP warrant recalled. In the letter, he stated he'd never miss his court and would never disrespect the court time. Well, a lot has transpired since he wrote this letter. Since, that subject has received 2 additional warrants and still has not turned himself in, like he promised the judge. In December, he was charged with stealing a television set from a home in Crofton. In November, the judge issued a warrant for violation of probation with a reduced bond amount, and in February, he missed court again on a traffic violation. So today, we're looking for Damon Wilson Scott. He's a 40-year-old black male with a date of birth of February the 21st, 1978. He is 5'11" tall, weighs 240 pounds. The subject's last known address is 1910 Cambridge Drive in Crofton. Our next subject, it's going to be Antoine Lee Weddington. Now, this subject's problems began in November 2017 when he was charged with violating a protective order. Police were called to Leland Drive in Severna Park after witnesses reported he was arguing with a female. As it turned out, Weddington was under a protective order and was not allowed to be near this person. He fled as police tried to gather information. The police were able to identify him and charge him. Since then, he has received 4 more warrants. 3 related to protective order violations, 1 for assault and 1 for fail to appear for a traffic case. This subject has been arrested before and is known to use multiple aliases. So today we are looking for Antoine Lee Weddington, who's a 21-year-old black male with the date of birth of February the 4th, 1997. He's 5 foot 8 inches tall, weighs 175 pounds. His last known address is 108 South Jennings Road in Severna Park. And our last subject will be Matika Nicole Jones. This subject also has 5 warrants after going on a shoplifting spree at local Target stores back in 2017. This subject was arrested, pled guilty, and subsequently released from the detention center in 2018. Since her release, she has complied with absolutely none of her conditions of release. She has not reported to her probation officer, moved without permission, and has not paid a dime of her restitution. In total, this subject has 5 separate warrants relating to her shoplifting problem. So today, we're looking for Matika Nicole Jones, 32-year-old black female with the date of birth of July the 8th, 1985. She's 5 foot 1 inches tall, weighs 170 pounds. And her last known address is number 19 Benz Drive, lovely Annapolis, Maryland. I want to thank a few people allowed this show to happen every single month. First, the man behind the camera, Mr. Dale Boyer. From my office, Acting Lieutenant Brian Andre. I want to thank our County Executive, Mr. Steve Shue, the Chief of Police from Annapolis City, Mr. Scott Baker, Chief of Anne Arundel County Police, Mr. Tim Altamari. Folks, remember, let's keep Anne Arundel County safe. I'm Sheriff Ron Bateman, and we'll see you next time on Anne Arundel's Most Wanted.